The bus is here. The bus is here. I'm back in town.
In spite of coronavirus, in spite of economic challenges, in spite of racism and police violence, in spite of everything that we are facing, here you are, still standing. If you don't know nothing else, know this. You matter, you are loved, and you got power.
Well, members of the Black Voters Matter Fund are making stops in 14 states. It's a national outreach initiative all about encouraging people to get out and vote.
You can't miss it. The blackest bus in America. Spread the word.
When we say the blackest bus in America, we wanted it to be the bus that affirmed black people. We wanted to be the bus that got black folks excited, right?
How y'all doing, Montgomery? We gonna vote in record numbers.
People will break down in song and dance. People break down crying because of just the imagery that's on the bus.
Their goal, to bring a message of power and hope to minority communities in smaller cities and towns, which can many times be ignored by political parties. They also work to fight what organizers call voter suppression.
We have the kind of power that is merged with love. We're talking about righteous power. We need that kind of power. We deserve that kind of power. And I'm gonna tell you one other thing, we got that kind of power.
Darkness cannot survive if light comes in the room. And so we've got to be a light unto the world.
We're traveling through the states that are essentially the former Confederacy, what arguably still is hostile territory. We've been through a lot. People are tired, people are sick, people are literally dying. We got attacks on the Postal Service, the moving of polling places, the restrictions, and the photo ID. What the fuck?
There is no reason in the middle of this rain for that house to catch fire.
No, they need to come get us. We're not staying here.
So that's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to set up them high-level hotels. They're used to seeing high-level folks that they got security. So that's what we're gonna have to go to. Because the bus can be secured.
Any number of people saw the blackest bus in America pull up and drop a couple people off at this house. What we do is not a joke. It's just not a joke.
You know, they put the fire out, they sent the arson team, they're still investigating.
You know, the primary purpose was intimidation and fear. They were trying to send a message.
Racism is damn traumatic. I mean, just damn traumatic. Like, why the hell we gotta go through this, right? I'm mad. I'm scared. And I feel determined too. I mean, we ain't about to go nowhere. We can't stop, won't stop, so we ain't about to stop.
Following the Supreme Court's gutting of the Voting Rights Act, black political power has faced sustained challenges across the country, especially in the South. But history makes clear what happens in the South shapes what happens in America. And while the South has been the site of struggle, it's also been a blueprint of resilience, creativity, community, and power. And as the nation moves through its first 250 years, black communities are actively reimagining what the next 250 will look like. Joining the Global Black Economic Forum stage, Latosha Brown, Cliff Albright, April England Albright, co-founder of National Legal Director of the Black Voters Matter Fund.
Hey, y'all!
Woo!
What's up?
What's up, Essence? When I say black voters, you say matter. Black voters.
Matter!
Black voters.
Matter!
Black Voters Matter is a power-building organization, not just a voting organization, but a power-building organization. But what we know is that voting is a critical tool for us to build power in our communities. Our work is rooted very much in the South, not just the South, but it is rooted in the South, Southern movement, Southern history, Southern culture. And what we know is the South got something to say.
That's
Somebody
right.
say the South.
The South.
The South got something to say.
The South got something to
because
say.
what happens in the South affects the entire country.
That's right.
Stuff that happens in the South, voter suppression, housing issues, whatever it is, it doesn't just stay in the South, it impacts the entire country. But the flip side is that the organizing, the power building, the movement building that happens in the South also affects the entire country.
That's right. And so we came here for so many reasons. We came here first to say that the South has something to say, that it's important, but we also came here to talk about what's happening in this country. We were in Galveston, Texas, celebrating Juneteenth just over a week ago. And we were in the historical Reedy Chapel Church, AME Church. And we asked people in the community, have you heard of Louisiana versus Calais? And out of the 70 people that were present, only 3 people raised their hand. And so we immediately knew that we've got to spread the word. Because right now, this white supremacist Supreme Court, along with these white supremacist state legislatures, are trying to draw us out of power.
That's right.
And so we've got to talk about it, right? And we wanted to make sure that you got information from the folks who have been going back and forth to state houses and to state courts to learn about what we need to do this summer in preparation for November. But that's not the only thing we came to talk about, right, Latosha?
That's right. Well, the first thing I did right was the day I started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize and hold on, hold on. Anybody ever heard that song?
Yeah.
That's a freedom song. That is a song that our people sang to make us to remember. It also is helping us to stay grounded in this moment, that we got to keep our eyes on the prize. But what that means is we cannot continue just to be in a space of thinking of ourselves just as citizens of a nation that somebody else envisioned that didn't even envision us, y'all.
Come on.
That what we've got to do is see ourselves as the light bearers and the architects of the America that we desire and that we deserve.
That's right.
So we're not just citizens. We got to see ourselves as founders of the new America. Say founders.
Founders.
We are what?
Founders.
We are what?
Founders.
And we're going to create an America. We're going to create a nation that there's space for all of us. That we won't be saying that it's the wealthiest in the world. We will say it's the healthiest in the world. That we will say that every single child will have everything that they need. That our communities will thrive. But we've got to actually create that and envision that. Y'all with me?
Yes.
So what we know is black voters, what Cliff said? So I'm turning back over to you, Cliff. We've got a panel that's coming up of some bad Southerners that's going to talk to us that are part of the architects of the next iteration of where we're going.
That's right.
And after that panel, we want the conversation to continue, but we don't just want y'all asking questions. We want y'all to give us some strategy, to give us some examples. Because part of this whole discussion is about how do we talk to each other about these issues, about the voting rights attacks, about being the new founders, right? What are some things that you all have done? And so the question that we're going to ask, and I'm going to ask them to put up the QR code so that you can put in your answer. There it is. So if you can scan that, you're going to have an opportunity to answer this question. And the question is, give us some examples of some conversations or some tactics that you all have done in order to get more people involved in talking about these issues, to get more people involved in talking about our voting rights, to get more people involved in talking about power in our communities. Because I know somebody out here, because everybody out here is an organizer. And so y'all got some good examples. So scan that code, put in your examples, and after our panel discussion, we're gonna come back and we're gonna call on you, right, who have some of the most creative, some of the most exciting examples. We're gonna call on you. We'll give you the mic so that you can tell us and tell everybody what those examples are. Does that sound cool?
That's right.
All right, so stick around and we'll get on out the way because we got an amazing panel coming up, y'all.
All right, Black Voters Matter.
Please welcome our moderator, Ashley Allison, CNN commentator, owner of The Root, and CEO of Watering Hole Media, along with Gary Chambers, entrepreneur and advocate, Signature Consulting Group and Civics for the People, and State Representative Justin J. Pearson of Tennessee's 86th District, and Rashanda Leas, Digital Mobilizer, RL Entertainment, as we begin our final conversation of the day on the GBEV stage.
What's up, everybody? Hey, y'all. Hello, hello, hello. He's such a gentleman, waiting for the lady to come. Aww, that's why we love you. Hi, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Essence Fest. We're gonna jump right in because, as you heard, the co-founders of Black Voters Matter, who are literally the freedom fighters of our generation, the South has something to say. And after the Calais decision this spring, it was very clear that the power of Black voters, the Supreme Court gutted it, and people went straight to work to try and destruct Black power. So, Representative Pearson, I'm gonna just start with you, because let me tell you something. I saw that video, boy. I said, whoa. What happened in Tennessee, and why did it happen?
I mean, Tennessee has, for a long time, been the laboratory for autocracy. And we saw that when I got expelled 3 years ago, standing up against gun violence. We see that now. 3 days after the Calais decision, we're called into a special session to take away the only Black majority district in the state of Tennessee. Like, these folks aren't wasting any time because the neo-Confederacy is rising. And they're not trying to separate from our country. They're trying to use the institutions to dilute and take away Black political power. And so Donald Trump called the governor called a special session, and just like they do, the white supremacists in the State House and in the Tennessee State Senate decided that our Black community in Memphis and Shelby County didn't deserve to have a congressional seat. And so they thought also that was going to stop me from running for Congress, and they thought wrong. Right. Because we can still win, because we can out-organize and we can outwork anybody. And that's what's required in this moment in time, which is why I'm so grateful to be here and so grateful to Black Voters Matter for the work, because we organized people beat organized money, beats white supremacy any and every single time. And that's what's required right now.
All right, I'm gonna come back to you to the organizing y'all did in Tennessee, because it was powerful. Gary, I'm gonna come to you next. I love watching you ride your bike.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
But I really appreciated you before you started doing the bike riding and whatnot when you were running for office, and really mobilizing Black voters in Louisiana. Because look, I'm from the political space, and we always we heard in 2020, oh, you can't win Georgia, and we won Georgia. Oh, you can't win in Alabama when Doug Jones ran for Senate and won. You are organizing in Louisiana. The Calais decision was Calais versus Louisiana. Talk to me about the organizing you're doing on the ground to activate Black voters in the face of what feels like this most aggressive attack on voting rights in our generation.
I think for me, I don't know anything else but being in community with Black folks. So it's ground zero for me always. And I think that the answer to all of our problems that we see right now is mobilizing Black power in the Deep South. I've been long on the argument that we need a new Black South. Louisiana is 33% Black, Mississippi is 38% Black, Georgia's 33% Black, Alabama's 28% Black. When you look at the numbers of those states, and then you add in the fact that 20 to 30% of white people in those states will do the right thing, that in every one of those states you have the opportunity to make wholesale change. That is also why they fight the hardest in those states, to disenfranchise voters, to make sure that we don't have the resources that are necessary. The thing that I think we have to do as Black folks right now is challenge the Democratic Party to see the same value in investing in Black people in the South the way that you do in Wisconsin. If you can spend $300 million in Wisconsin, but we got Scott Cologne running for Senate in Mississippi, I want to know how much money Scott gonna get this year. And if you don't give him the resources to be successful, you can't tell us what's not possible. John Bel Edwards was the governor of Louisiana for 2 terms in this century, okay, as a Democrat, elected by a majority Black vote. He got 700,000 votes when he won. 450,000 of them was Black. There are 925,000 registered Black voters in Louisiana. The only reason Jeff Landry is the governor is because 500,000 bigots decided that he should be. Now, if you have 925,000 registered Black voters and you have a governor elected by 500,000 votes, and it's cheaper to move the vote in Louisiana than it is to do it in Pennsylvania, it's cheaper to move the vote in Tennessee than it is in Texas, it's cheaper to move the vote in Alabama than it is in California, I just want to know where my money at.
Run me my money. Now, good sis, whenever that whiteboard gets pulled out, my notebook comes too, because you can teach a lesson. You have a skill at a lot of people, if you're sitting in this audience, you are our evangelist. You are learning, but you probably know a lot of this information, and you go back in your community, you get filled up at an essence, and then you go activate your community. When these good people go back to wherever they came from, or what maybe it is here in Louisiana, talk to me about what you think about when you're communicating to your audience to convey really, really important information in such a comical, engaging, shady at times way.
Well, for me, my cousin is here from Mississippi, so shout out to April, and my wife is here. But me and April grew up in a huge family. My mom is number 13, her mama is number 14, right? Our grandfather had us out there knocking on doors, putting up signs. We are from Fayette, Mississippi, where Charles Evers was elected, which was Medgar Evers' brother, first black mayor. At the time, it was a black and white town. When I was born, it was an all-black town. So I grew up seeing all-black store owners, all-black teachers, all-black bus drivers. We're 15 minutes from Alcorn State. So my bubble, our bubble, was all black, just different shades of black. So I know, even though we are a poor town, I know that we are great people and we come from greatness, right? So I walk in there every day. When I'm teaching people and talking to people, I'm talking to them about our history and what I saw and what I know can be possible, right? What I want people to understand when I'm teaching them, a lot of people are exhausted, right? If they have not seen change in their block, in their apartment complex, or anywhere, and you knock on their door for a vote, they're not trying to hear you. They're trying to make it. So my job in my little corner of the world is to break it down, right? Because they don't have time, right? If you don't know that you don't have to call, the president's not responsible for your pothole, but you got city council, and this is how the funding goes, and this is where this goes. If they know the information, then they know they can show up at those school boards. They can show up at those city council meetings. They can state their problems. But the problem is, by the time you get to my door, especially me, I was a single divorced mother of 4, I'm exhausted. Right? So if my grandmama grew up here, my mama grew up here, and I'm here, and I haven't seen change, and you're asking me to vote, you got to explain to me what's going to change, because I haven't seen change, right? I'm a poor black man or woman from a certain place, and I ain't seen nothing change. But also in the other side, I want my white brothers and sisters to know that are also poor, because I'm in Louisville, Kentucky now, and we can see it's a segregated city, and we see both. See, the problem is that if you don't know that they used to give overseers a horse and a badge, and that's all to make you an overseer, and nothing changed, you still went back to a one-room shack, the only thing is they gave you a little power and nothing changed, then you understand we're not against each other. We on the same side. But while we're bickering, we're being robbed blind. And that's the problem. So when I get up there, I'm thinking about all of that. And I'm also understanding that if you have the knowledge, you can make the change. So I don't look down upon people that are not aware of the process. I need them to get the process so we can get to change.
All right, I know that's right.
Yeah.
Representative Pearson, I want to come back to you. So the Calais decision happens, and like a week, less than a week, they took a generation of work away from our people. And in that time period, we saw Tennessee activated again. And then after that, we saw it happen in other states, and the founders and other coalition of 200 people galvanized people to come to Montgomery to say, not on our watch. Tell me about the organizing it took place, because a lot of people watching on TV or on their screen, and they think it happens like that. And sometimes it does, but sometimes it takes a lot of work. So tell me about the organizing you all had to do from the moment the Calais decision comes down to them saying they're going to redraw these maps to get the nation to wake up to your fight?
No, that's a great question. First, God bless black women organizers. Come on, give a round of applause. If it were not for black women organizers, there would be no resistance to the oppression that we are experiencing, that we are seeing. And I know one, Amber Sherman, who's here, but so many folks with the Equity Alliance. Amber, shout out to Amber. Truly, black women organizers helped us because we've already been building trust over years. This isn't our first fight. We had our expulsion. That was a fight. We had to fight multi-billion-dollar corporations who are trying to pollute our water, crude oil pipeline. We've been fighting Elon Musk. And so the fact that we've been in fights helped us to build trust across our organizations. But what also is really important that we kind of shared with our brothers, sisters, and siblings in other states was elected officials were a part of the fight. You can't have elected officials who view themselves as separate from the movement work. And you can't have movement folk who say it's not an elected official's role. We have to have a symbiotic relationship, recognizing an external and an internal strategy. That it is important for us to have black elected officials who are inside the institution, who are able to push for the things that we want to see happen. And simultaneously, it's really important to have outside organizations who are in communication, who are continuing to hold the line about what is necessary and possible in our communities. And so it's not that one is better than the other. It's the reality that we need both. And in Tennessee, literally in less than 7 days, when all this happened, folks were getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep at max, because it was making sure we had buses and vans to bring people from Memphis to Nashville and people from Chattanooga and Knoxville to Nashville to show up in committee meetings and committee hearings and to testify. It is a lot of work. And I think we really have to honestly celebrate ourselves, because a headline won't ever do it. Because what happened in Tennessee helped to spark the fight that happened in Georgia, that happened in South Carolina. And though they took our district, Georgia's all right for a little bit longer. Yeah. South Carolina's all right for a little bit longer. Right? That is what our organizing should do. It should create solidarity across borders. And I think we've gotten, I ain't gonna preach, but I think that's what we gotta break. Right? Just because you're in a different state don't mean you're not connected, which is why I'm watching stuff that's happening in Louisiana, why you should be cared about what's happening in Tennessee, because it's actually the same systems oppressing you that's oppressing us. But if we start rising up together in our different cities, in our different towns, in our different communities, collectively building power, donating $1 or $2 to other campaigns, volunteering across borders, that helps us to increase our impact substantially. And it's not just national, it also needs to be international, particularly when we think about data centers and data mining that's happening on the continent of Africa. Like this moment requires more connectivity from us than we probably have seen in a generation or two.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say thank you. I do. Because it took courage to do what you did. And you have a family. And we know the world we live in, and thank you for living by example. I mean it. Gary, let's clap it up, because I was scared for him. I was like, oh, who we got to call to protect you? Gary, when you answered your last question, you talked about how it's just all you've ever done is be in community. And I think black people, we are uniquely positioned to be in community as a collective. But there are people in our community, to your point, it's like they're exhausted, or they're like, I don't have any power, it doesn't matter. And I don't fault them for saying that. I get frustrated, but I don't fault them for saying that. What do you want those individuals to know? How do you find it inside of yourself to motivate a young brother, a young sister in Louisiana who are like, see, it don't matter, and they trying to take it away, so I'm done. I'm just gonna go kick it or whatever. Or just go to work and just provide for my family is best. What do you say to them? Because you're a great communicator.
I argue with Negroes.
I know you do. In the comments and everything. I'm like, dang, Gary.
I'm at your door arguing with you. I'm having a long-form conversation. I'm actually, my homeboy Ryan Thompson is running for district attorney at East Baton Rouge Parish, and we're knocking doors for him right now.
Come on, shout out.
And we're knocking doors for him right now. And while we were knocking doors, last week a sister opened the door, and I want to make a comment when I say this. When we are in wealthier communities, I am never greeted by somebody who tells me they're not voting, okay? The closer I get to more poverty is when I end up with people telling me they ain't voting. And what I have to process first before through my anger is, you don't realize that's your money too.
That's right.
And so we start having a conversation. If somebody taking 30% of your money from you and you letting somebody else decide who's elected, that's like letting your ex-girlfriend determine when your light bill get paid. Your light's gonna be off, baby. Nobody's coming to save you if you don't show up for yourself. And so I have an economic conversation with people because everybody's not concerned about racism. Everybody's not concerned about bigotry. Everybody's not impacted by that the same
black
way.
people.
I'm talking about black folks specifically, okay? Because in Louisiana, for instance, we are where all of the unraveling of this has started. And you still have black folk here that will tell you because we second line together or because we was at, you was jigging, that you know culturally that we cool, that we on the same page. Because you show up at a LSU tailgate and dance with black folk does not mean you give a damn about black people. And what we have to do is care enough about our own resources. And so the conversations that I'm having at the door is, do you pay taxes? Do you pay sales taxes? Are they taking 9-10% of your every dollar that you spend at the store? So if they're taking 9-10% off your dollar every time you go to the store, let me ask you another question. Do you care about your roads? Are you satisfied with the road on your street? Are you satisfied with the school around the corner from your house? If you ain't satisfied with the school around the corner from your house, then ask yourself about the gas tax you pay, the light tax you pay, the technology tax you pay, the phone tax you pay, the property tax you pay, the sales tax you pay. At some point, you ought to care when somebody's taking that much of your resources, what happens with those resources. I find that conversation is more fruitful with a lot of people than debating about things that they may not be able to connect their everyday life to. I think that we spend a lot of time at the door trying to convince people about candidates, about issues, when we haven't even got the basic understanding of, are you okay?
That's right.
Right? Are you okay with the way the money's being spent? And if you're not, you can do something about it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that is good. Rashanda, I just want to know, so we're in this creator world, right? Like everybody's got their phone and like everybody's famous. You real famous, but like everybody famous. And talk to folks about how they can work with creators to get their message out, because sometimes it feels intimidating. Sometimes, and we do work together with our, and you know, everyone has their own audience, and the internet works. It's like not a real place, but yeah, it's like where so many people get information. So how can people work with someone like you or your colleagues and friends to get their message out?
Oh, actually, it's just reaching out. So most of us, especially me and my friends, I have always been a nerd, right? I come from the Encyclopedia Britannica era that came with the thesaurus and the dictionary and the atlas, okay, and the almanac. I need all the information. And that's what
Not an almanac.
I want all of it. Because you can't, that's why I tell people all the time, you can't just tell me something and I believe it. I'm finna go look it up. And bring back the Dewey Decimal System. Does anybody know how to find a book? Right? Find a book, right? Because that's what LeVar said. It's in a book. Take a look, okay? So for me, yes, don't make me start singing Read the Rainbow. So if you have the information, because I'm a facts person, and I really do want to know what you're gonna do, what you're gonna change, and also, like you said, look around. I'm a numbers person. My mom was an accountant. Add it up, make it make sense, and if something is missing, answer it. So for me, when those that are running and those that are already in office reach out to me, I just need to know the facts. I want to know, because here's the thing. A lot of people are confused, especially around this time, if they see creators talking about politics. Or I tell people all the time, because you think that it's something new. If you're not into politics, it's into you. It's your rent, it's your mortgage, it's your schools, it's everything. Everything is political. So it's not me just talking about politics, because again, I'll break it down for you and give you facts, but also it matters. When you realize where we are, like if you span out and you're like, Rashanda, we're just, on a floating rock, floating through space, gotta pay bills. Yes, right, exactly. And none of that is gonna change whether you sit it out or not. Right. What you are doing is giving that power to somebody else to make that decision, right? Which is why we are where we are now. So when you reach out to a creator, if there's something that aligns, because I'm gonna say it anyway, whether you reach out to me or not, the things that really matter to me, I'm gonna post about it, I'm gonna say it anyway. if you have a positive message, if you want people to know what you're about and what's happening in your area, and I pay attention, like you said, to all states because all of them matter. Yes. But being born in Chicago, raised in Mississippi, living in Kentucky, because people act like Kentucky's not the South. Let me tell you something.
It's the South.
We just did an ancestry, and our great grandmother was sold in Lexington, Kentucky. So even though I had never knew that, I found that out. So all of it matters, and everywhere we are and everything we do matters. So when you reach out to a creator, first of all, make sure they are aligned with you, because I'm not on no shenanigans and tomfoolery. Right. Don't reach out to me and you out here
Millie mouth.
If I find out that you doing something, I'll snatch it down quick. I won't be associated with foolishness. So when you reach out to a creator, just make sure that you're aligned and you're here to do the work, right? Because a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people are pushed back against politicians or don't want to be in the system. If you want to tear it down, fine. If you want to be third party, fine. The problem is you don't have a plan to rebuild. You don't have a plan 5 months before an election. Now you want to push something. Listen, we don't have time. We need to get to the other side, and then we can fix, because there is things that are broken. Yes. There are things we need to get done. But right now, in this moment, the contrarianism, the sitting it out, the not wanting to be involved, we don't have time right now. And people are dying. That's right. Like, for real. And I always tell people also the infighting has to stop. But also, there are people waiting on us to help them. Just imagine you're on your way to help a drowning person, but along the way you keep stopping to explain yourself to people that's not even trying to go help.
And ain't even drowning.
Ain't even drowning. And now look, somebody else has perished. So we got to get on one accord and we got to go forward, right? But also, please do it ethically, because if I find out you on some shadiness, I'm just going to have to talk about you real bad.
I know, and we don't, don't talk about me, please. I'm on the up and up. Because you could take a person out with that whiteboard. Okay, we're running out of time, so I actually want each of you to answer this question. We wanted people to leave understanding what is at stake, what is happening, but also what can they do. So I'm going to just say voting, yes. Register your family to vote, yes. That's baseline. In addition to that, if you had all the power in the world to get someone to do one thing to engage in this moment, what would it be?
I'm going to break the rule and say two. Run for office or help somebody who's running for office. Because we need better people in politics who care about our issues, who's going to fight to increase the minimum wage, who's going to fight to get Medicare for all, who's going to stop these endless wars from happening across the world, who's going to stand up to billionaires who are destroying our communities with their data centers. We need better people in elected office. So run for office or help somebody who is running for office. Volunteer with your time, your money, your resources, so that we can save this constitutional democratic republic experiment. Happy 250th.
I love it.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Well, you can't say it. Say something else.
So if I had all the money, first...
Or power, not even the money, because
power to do...
To get some people to do something in this moment we find ourselves. Because I think people need help. Sometimes they don't know what to do.
Right. So I call myself a digital mobilizer. I would actually need everybody active in every state, everywhere. I want everybody to do something, right? When we think about the civil rights movement, we always think about those that are out there. But there was also those that were cooking meals, and also that were meeting offline. That's another thing. We got to meet offline. Okay, we're being surveilled and watched. They all in our business. We need to be off somewhere to get this thing done, because, again, if we don't have the good people in place, and there are good people, I know when you meet people, they're hopeless, and that's what I'm trying to do. My job, Rashanda Elias' job, is to get to people before hope leave their eyes. If you've ever seen somebody with no hope, that's how you end up in the situations we are in with segregated communities and crime running rapid, and all, because they're trying to live. They're trying to feed their family. And if you don't give me any options, then my options aren't going to be good, right? So that's what my job is. I really want to get to people before hope leaves their eyes.
I love that. Hope is a discipline. Hope is a discipline. Close us out, Brother Gary.
For me, it would be to get every person to knock their neighborhood. If you can knock your own neighborhood, your own community, most of us don't live in massive subdivisions. If you knock your own community, that's a group of people that are going to get engaged, and they're going to get engaged because they trust you. They may follow Rashanda, they may follow Justin, they may follow me, but when they see their neighbor at their door, they trust you far more than they trust us because you have the same material conditions within your community. And so if I could get every person just to engage in their own local community, in their own neighborhood, that would transform and really build community for us.
Gary, Rashanda, Representative Pearson, Justin, my friend, thank you so much. Give it up for our panel. Thank you for being here today. Happy Essence and enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.